Yeah, good morning everyone and welcome to Supply Chain Management online classes. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Wanjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. So, dear students, we are learning about achieving coordination in the supply chain. Okay, and in the previous class, we just started the single point of order fulfillment. Okay, how it can help improve information accuracy and dampen the bullwhip effect and help achieve coordination in the supply chain. So let's take a quick recap of what we have discussed so far before we discuss the last part of the chapter. Okay, so chapter 10, coordination in the supply chain. So far we have learned the lack of supply chain coordination, bullwhip effect, reasons that the bullwhip effect occurs, then the effect of lack of coordination on performance of supply chain, obstacles to achieve coordination in the supply chain, then managerial levers to achieve coordination in the supply chain. Okay. So the managerial levers are broadly classified into the same what we discussed in the previous slides. Action-oriented levers, those included information sharing, operational improvements, changing of incentives, and stabilizing of prices. And the fifth managerial lever is a relationship-oriented lever. So, which is building of cooperation and trust within the supply chain. So, why it is required is because each stage is an independent party. The supplier of raw materials is a separate company. Manufacturer of finished goods is a separate company. Distributors and wholesalers are separate parties. So that is the reason why it becomes very difficult for the company to achieve cooperation and trust within supply chain. Okay. So then after discussing the managerial levers, okay, which help achieve coordination in the supply chain, we then started discussing about continuous replenishment and vendor managed inventories. I'll just take a quick recap. Okay, so this is nothing but a single point of replenishment. Replenishment means fulfilling an order. Say distributors have placed the order and those orders have to be delivered by the manufacturer, for example. Okay, so that is a replenishment. Single point of replenishment decisions ensures visibility and a common forecast. So generally companies will have warehouses located across a country or market, and each warehouse is allocated to a geographical territory. So all the distributors or wholesalers in the territory are supplied from that warehouse. So usually their order goes to the warehouse in their territory. Okay, but this creates confusion because there are multiple points of replenishment across the country. Okay, so there are high chances of communication distortion, which may lead to bullwhip effect. So instead of having multiple points of receiving orders, okay, the company will maintain a single point of okay replenishment, okay, where all the orders online will be routed to only one point through a software. Okay, deliveries can be made from the respective warehouses, but orders will be received only in one point. So what the company want is information on demand, information of orders. That's it. Okay, which helps dampens the bullwhip effect. So two practices of assigning single point of responsibility of receiving orders, okay, are a continuous replenishment programs, which we discussed yesterday. And today we are going to understand what are vendor managed inventories and with couple of examples. Okay, so yesterday we have discussed this. So continuous replenishment programs. Okay, yesterday we have discussed. And today we are going to learn about vendor managed inventory. Okay, so the difference is in continuous replenishment program. Okay, wholesaler or manufacturer fulfills the orders. Okay, from the retailer, and the inventory is owned by the retailer. In a vendor managed inventory, manufacturer is responsible for all decisions regarding product inventories at the retailer, and inventory is owned by the manufacturer until it is sold by the retailer. Okay, So manufacturer or vendor will have the total control over the inventory, not only in terms of receiving the orders, but also in terms of holding the inventory. So manufacturer will decide what will be the inventory level to be maintained by each retailer. See, please again remember, okay, throughout the syllabus I have told you, it is possible only in case of organized retailing. Countries like India, where 90 to 93% of the retail market is unorganized, kirana stores and roadside fruit and vegetable vendors, here it is not possible. Like we studied, okay, in retailing subjects, marketing students will remember, like in America, the penetration of organized retailing is as high as 94%. Only 6% is unorganized retail market. So, okay, that is how things go. So that is why when these multinational companies enter into different countries, okay, especially the less developed countries, okay, than those. So it becomes a challenging task for companies to implement the company policies because the infrastructure in a foreign country may not be similar to the one which will be there in their hometown, home country. So inventory is owned by manufacturer until it is sold by the retailer. So in our country, generally distributors, yes, can be connected with the distributors or wholesalers, computers can be connected with the company. So usually companies in India has to rely upon the orders placed by wholesalers. Okay, remember orders placed by wholesalers. Based on that, manufacturer will develop sales forecasting, but which we know is actually not a good practice. Okay, the accuracy of the sales forecasting will be less. Okay. And distributors or wholesalers will not even be able to share how much they have sold to the retailer. How much they have sold to the retailer. Most of the wholesalers or distributors may not want to share that information. Okay, and neither manufacturer nor wholesaler will have any control on or any information about the demand at the point of sale or demand at the retail store. Okay, there is nothing to connect the kirana stores, roadside fruit and vegetable vendors. Okay, you cannot connect them with wholesalers and manufacturers. Okay, so this is the situation. Okay, you should understand. You should know this. Retailer shares demand information with the manufacturer. Okay, because like if you have visited organized retail stores like More supermarket, Big Bazaar hypermarket, yes. Okay, they have point of sale and they have computers. Okay, these computers are connected with the manufacturer computer. They can be connected if the retailer is willing to share information with the manufacturer. For example, if Aditya Birla Retail agrees to share demand data, okay, agrees to share this demand data at the point of sale, okay, they can share it with the Procter and Gamble, Hindustan Unilever Limited, ITC or Patanjali, such companies. Okay, generally it doesn't happen, okay, in our country. So vendor managed inventories are based on the above information. Okay, means based on the retailer's demand information. So retail store is the point where exactly the demand is met. Okay, where the products are demanded and the sales actually happen. So that information is the most accurate information, the most important information. Okay, which can be used for developing sales forecasting. Okay, so using this retailer demand information, okay, based on the retailer demand info, based on the information provided by the retailer, okay, the manufacturer makes inventory replenishment decisions. See, okay, so manufacturer will exactly know, okay, what is the movement of the company products in the retail store. As the retailer directly shares the demand information with the manufacturer. Okay, and the manufacturer in fact can see, okay, what is the inventory of their products in each store as well as in warehouses of the organized retailer, and accordingly they can prepare themselves for an incoming order. Sorry. Okay, so accordingly the manufacturer itself takes a decision how much goods have to be delivered to each warehouse or each retail store of the organized retailer, because all the inventory decisions, okay, manufacturer is responsible for all decisions regarding product inventories at the retailer. So it's the manufacturer who decides the inventory level at the retailer. Okay, organize the retail stores. Okay, so that way manufacturer has complete control, okay, over the inventory. He has all the demand information from the point of sale, that is in the retail store. Okay, and based on which he makes replenishment decisions. So how much, what quantity of goods to be delivered to each store or each distribution center. Okay, so the accuracy here will be quite high because the manufacturer has direct information about the demand at the retail point, as well as he has the authority or responsibility to maintain the inventory level in the retail store. Okay, but remember, for this purpose, retail organization must agree. That is why we said in the supply chain, trust and cooperation are key in achieving supply chain coordination. See, organized retailer is a separate entity and they will have thousands of stores across a country or across a market. Okay, and vendors or suppliers will be different, like Procter and Gamble, for example. Okay, or Unilever Limited, for example. Okay, so this organized retailer must, there should be trust between the organized retailer and the vendor or manufacturer, where the organized retailer agrees to share this information and gives authority to manufacturer to make the inventory decisions at their retail stores. Understand this? Okay. So why, when organized retailer will agree for such a big decision or to share information and take, okay, and give the control of inventory to manufacturer, when there is a trust and cooperation in the supply chain. Okay, please remember this. So this helps improve manufacturer forecast. See, all the objective is to improve information accuracy. So I told you, improve information accuracy means improve the accuracy of demand forecasting or sales forecasting. So this way, this helps improve manufacturer forecasts and better match production with consumer demand. So company will be able to produce more or less exactly the same quantity as demanded by the customer. So there will not be additional inventory left in the supply chain. This is how a company can dampen the bullwhip effect by way of having demand data from the retail point or a retail store, where the organized retailer agrees to share this information and gives authority to manufacturer to make inventory decisions on behalf of his organization. Okay. Yeah, there are some examples. So this is a vendor managed inventory. Okay. So Fred Meyer is a retailer. Okay. Food retailer. Okay. Fred Meyer is a food retailer. So we have examples from America. We don't have any example from India in this case. So these days, okay, nothing is foreign or nothing is alien. Okay? Simply you can go to Google, type Fred Meyer, okay, and you can get to know about the company. Okay. So or else I can take you there. Okay, so Fred Meyer is an American chain of, I hope you can see this Google page.
No, sir.
No, sir.
1 minute. Yeah, how about now?
Yes, sir.
Sir, it's visible, sir.
Yes, thank you. So Fred Meyer is an American chain of hypermarket superstores founded in 1931 in Portland, Oregon, USA, America, by founder Fred G. Meyer. Okay, his name is given to the organized retail store. The stores are found in the western US within the states of Oregon, Washington, Idaho, California, and Alaska. Okay, so now this is the example, okay, which we are learning, which is using vendor managed inventory. Vendor managed inventory. Okay. So dear students, please know, when you don't know about something, okay, no need to panic or no need to be ignorant also. Go to Google, type the word, and anything in the world, okay, is available. You will get the information on that. Okay. So Fred Meyer is a hypermarket So if you okay, so if we go to maybe about yeah. Okay, about company information, it is not page is not opening, but anyway, it's okay. You can just go through the category, digital coupons, weekly ad, yeah, departments, summer merchandise, graduation, Father's Day, ship to home, seafood, frozen, deli, pantry, fresh fruit and vegetable, meat, natural and organic, dairy and eggs, beer, wine and liquor, beverages, bakery, breakfast, coffee, cleaning and household, kitchen and dining, home, electronics, toys and games, garden and patio, health and wellness, personal care, beauty, vitamins and supplements, pet, baby, candy, floral, specialty diets, okay, international cuisine. So you look at the product lines, they carry a wide variety of product lines. Okay, so this company example we are considering here now. So I hope we can see back the PowerPoint slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now there can nobody can say that I don't know about the company. So Fred Meyer is a hypermarket store in America. Okay, so this company, okay, has allowed this. Okay, Fred Meyer organized the retailer has allowed Campbell Soup. It is a company. Huh? They come with canned soups in cans, or in India layman's call language a tin. You call it tin, no? So they come with a soup in tin. You just need to heat and consume it, ready to eat. Frito-Lay. Okay, I hope you know the snacks brand. It is available in India. And Procter and Gamble, of course. Okay, world's largest FMCG company. So and many more. Okay, so many more. So Fred Meyer is an organized retailer, and Campbell Soup is a manufacturer whose products are sold at Fred Meyer. Frito-Lay is a vendor, okay, whose products are sold at Fred Meyer. Procter and Gamble is a FMCG company, a vendor whose products are sold at Fred Meyer. Okay, so the inventory of Campbell Soups, the inventory of Frito-Lay snacks, and the inventory of Procter and Gamble in this organized retail store is managed by the respective companies. Fred Meyer doesn't take any decision. Okay, Procter and Gamble, okay, will have access to information about its products, okay, in each of the Fred Meyer retail store as well as the distribution center, and looking at which how much is being sold in the retail store, Procter and Gamble makes its decision, okay, what quantity of goods to be delivered to which store of Fred Meyer. Okay, so with this way, Procter and Gamble will have direct information about the consumer demand, so there is no communication distortion possible. Okay, then looking at how much is actually being sold in each store or from the distribution center, Procter and Gamble can schedule its production and be ready to deliver or replenish the Fred Meyer orders. Okay, order means it's Procter and Gamble which itself decides how much to send, how much delivery of goods to send to each Fred Meyer store. So this way, vendor managed inventory, where the manufacturer is responsible for all the inventory decisions at the retailer. Retailer doesn't make any inventory decisions. He doesn't even order. Procter and Gamble itself arranges to send the quantity of goods, looking at the sales happening at each of the Fred Meyer store. Now, due to which, what happens? Inventory is dropped by 30 to 40%. Before Fred Meyer adopted vendor managed inventory, okay, so generally what the retailers do, organized retailers, okay, they maintain a little bit of additional inventory. We call it safety inventory, so that they should not lose incoming demand. Customers walk into the store, and if they don't find the product what they want to buy, sales will not happen for the store. Store will lose sales. To prevent that loss of sales, usually organized retailer store additional inventory. How much more inventory to store? Okay, the retailer will not have clear idea. So generally due to that reason, they end up having a little bit higher inventory. Okay, so but when Fred Meyer adopted this vendor managed inventory approach and they gave authority for their vendors like Procter and Gamble to make the inventory decisions in their store, because Procter and Gamble would do the sales forecasting based on the information, okay, which is available directly from each of the Fred Meyer stores. How much is actually being sold, which of the Procter and Gamble products. So that information is direct and it is from point of sale. So this is the most important information which determines the accuracy of any sales forecasting. Okay. So Procter and Gamble since makes the inventory decision on behalf of Fred Meyer. Okay. Procter and Gamble would know more accurately, okay, how much quantity will be sold at each of the Fred Meyer stores. So they would send only that much. Remember, Fred Meyer doesn't order, the retailer. The manufacturer himself sends the delivery to each of the store depending on the demand at each store. Okay, so due to which the inventories were dropped by 30 to 40%. Think about the inventory carrying cost. Okay, millions of dollars were saved for Fred Meyer. Then fill rates have increased to 98%. Okay, so when before the agreement between Fred Meyer and Procter and Gamble, okay, Procter and Gamble would not exactly know what Fred Meyer is going to order and in what quantity, because information of a point of sale are not shared. Okay, so generally when Fred Meyer used to place order, please try to understand, okay, it is the organized retailer, okay, for thousands of stores, they make a single order to Procter and Gamble. So generally there are so many different products and the total number of stock keeping units also will vary. Okay, it will go in thousands. Okay, so it is impossible for a Procter and Gamble or for any manufacturer to maintain the inventory of finished goods of every stock keeping unit, okay, in exact quantity. So due to which they were not able to deliver the Fred Meyer orders. Okay, okay. So if the order fill rate means what is the match? Okay, what is ordered by Fred Meyer and what is delivered by Procter and Gamble? Okay, what is the match? It is measured in percentages. Nice. Okay. So earlier it used to be like 70%, 80% match. Okay, means up to 20% of what Fred Meyer has ordered, Procter and Gamble did not had it in inventory, or in what quantity. Say Fred Meyer might have ordered in larger quantity, but Procter and Gamble did not had that product in that required quantity. So fill rates in this way used to be about around 70 to 80%. But since Fred Meyer adopted vendor managed inventory and allowed Procter and Gamble to make its own inventory decisions, okay, the fill rates have increased to 98%. Believe me, it's a miracle. Okay, means whatever Fred Meyer orders, all the products and in right quantity, Procter and Gamble is able to deliver because they know what is selling in which store. Okay, and how much quantity of which stock keeping unit may be required in each store, Procter and Gamble would know more well in advance with their more accurate sales forecasting figures. Okay, so I hope you understand what is the meaning of vendor managed inventory. So any doubts here?
No, sir.
So is that okay? Vendor managed inventory?
Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so in these approaches where a single point of replenishment is used, okay, so usually planning and forecasting, okay, planning, forecasting and replenishment, like order fulfillment. Planning, forecasting and replenishment are done in collaboration with each other. Okay, simple way. Okay, if you see here, the forecasting is done by the Procter and Gamble, but in collaboration with Fred Meyer. Fred Meyer provides the demand data from its point of sale or each retail store. Using that information, this is what we learned here just. Retailer shares demand information with the manufacturer, which is most vital. Based on that retailer, okay, information provided by the retailer on demand, manufacturer makes inventory replenishment decisions. This helps improve manufacturer forecasts and better match production with consumer demand. That's exactly what we learned here in the example. Okay, so Planning, forecasting, and replenishment were done in a collaboration with a manufacturer, vendor, Procter and Gamble, and the retailer, Fred Meyer. Okay, so that is what exactly the collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment. Okay, so as defined by voluntary Inter-Industry Commerce Standards Association of America, uh, CPFR is a business practice that combines the intelligence of multiple partners. Okay, CPFR is a business practice that combines the intelligence of multiple partners. In our example, Fred Meyers and Procter and Gamble in the planning and the fulfillment of the customer demand. See, Procter and Gamble, okay, is able to deliver the Fred Meyer, okay, demand, okay, more or less almost up to 100%. Whatever Fred Meyer is, whatever the required Fred Meyers, the type of SKU, stock keeping unit, as well as the quantity. See, 98% is almost close to 100%. I hope you can understand. Exactly the same order, okay, can be fulfilled by Procter and Gamble. Believe me, it is a miracle. It is usually not possible. See, even you think about yourself, okay, okay, at least since you gained conscious, okay, you might have gone to so many stores to purchase shoes, jeans, t-shirt, okay, mobile phone, okay, or even sometimes grocery. Would you always got exactly what you wanted to buy? Can you reply somebody? You think about 10 times, 100 times you might have gone. How many times you got?
Never, sir.
No, sir.
Never. Yes, okay, even I remember. Okay, when I go to one store with a list, I never find everything what I want, including in more store also. I never found it. It is because, okay, there is no such approaches adopted by companies in India. So it in Procter and Gamble and HUL are foreign MNCs, of course. But in India, due to the type of retail market, okay, up to 94% of the retail market is unorganized retail market. They are dominated by kirana stores and roadside fruit and vegetable vendors. So such practices cannot be adopted in India. Okay, see, that is the reason why the fill rates, okay, are always about 60 to 70%. It is never more than 70% in India. And inventory, Indian retailers, you know the kirana store size, okay? What is the size of a kirana store? If you stand inside and spread your hands, you will touch both the walls, right? So small it is. Okay, and they are short on funds also, money also. Usually they don't maintain a high level of inventory. So that is also gone. Okay, remember this. So that is the reason why most of the times when you go, what exactly we are looking, that product. Jeans, for example, color may be available, but size will not be there. Size may be there, but color will not be there. If both are there, it will not be in the price range what we want to buy. Shirt, for example, or tops for girls. Okay, the style which you are looking may not be available. If it is available, color, your favorite color will not be available. If both are available, size will not be there. See, it is so common. So common. Even in FMCG products, exactly what we want to buy, it will not be available in the store. We compromise sometimes. Okay, so if purchase is urgent, we just go ahead with whatever we have. Okay. So business collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment. CPFR is a business practice that combines the intelligence of multiple partners in the planning and fulfillment of customer demand. Two parties have to synchronize their data and establish standards for exchanging information. Okay, the best example we learned now, Fred Meyer and Procter and Gamble, Fred Meyer and Campbell Soups, Fred Meyer and Frito-Lay, or Dell and Intel, for example. Okay. Yeah. Sellers and buyers. Okay, it depends. Huh? There are between stages. In case of suppliers and manufacturers, supplier of raw material becomes seller, and a manufacturer of finished goods become buyer. In case of still you can see the screen, PowerPoint slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in case
Yes,
of
sir.
manufacturer and distributor, manufacturer is a seller, distributor is a buyer. Remember, okay. Or in case of manufacturer and organized retailer, manufacturer is a seller, organized retailer is a buyer. Remember this. So sellers and buyers may collaborate In case of Dell and Intel, okay, so it is Intel is a supplier of components to Dell, and Dell is a buyer of components. So Intel is seller and Dell is buyer. Okay, and in case of Fred Mayers and the Procter & Gamble, Procter & Gamble is a seller and Fred Mayer is a buyer. Remember this. So sellers and buyers may collaborate along any or all of the 4 supply chain activities. See, there are 4 supply chain activities: strategy and planning, demand and supply management, execution or implementation, and analysis. So across these 4 supply chain activities, sellers and buyers may collaborate along any or all as per the agreement. Okay, so sellers and buyers can collaborate, okay, along strategy and planning activity, okay, which is long term in nature. Okay, so what are the activities? Account planning. Okay, account means customers. Please don't forget in marketing and other subjects, except in finance. Okay, so account planning. Okay, generally in the B2B marketing, it is possible. Okay, then market planning. So what will be the market size? By what percentage the market may grow? So how the company should meet the additional demand? This is all involved in market planning. Okay. So a seller and buyer may collaborate in the strategy and planning activity. Okay. Along account planning, customer planning in B2B as well as in market planning activities. Okay. So there can be a arrangement to collaborate on these activities, and the seller and buyer may prepare a joint business plan. Okay, for example, Intel and Dell can do this. Okay, or a Procter and Gamble and Fred Mayer can do this. Okay, and in fact, they are doing actually. So they adopt approaches like vendor managed inventory, okay, or category management. So this way, sellers and buyers may also collaborate along demand and supply management. Okay, so both may gather market data and analyze the demand data, and both may do demand planning. So what will be the estimated demand for the upcoming period and how to fulfill that demand. Okay, so along demand and supply management activity, sales, the buyer and seller and buyer may collaborate in developing sales forecasting. Okay, the way Dell and Intel does it, the way Fred Mayer and Procter and Gamble does it. Okay, or as well as order planning and forecasting. Okay, so for which point of sale data is required to be shared from the buyer's end. Okay, and which will be used by the seller to estimate demand forecasting. Okay, which will be more accurate. And replenishment planning. So how the buyer's orders will be fulfilled. Okay, maybe by adopting vendor managed inventory. Okay, and another one, continuous replenishment program. So this way, sellers and buyers may collaborate along any or all of the 4 supply chain activities. Even the buyer and seller may collaborate while implementing the strategies and planning. Okay, along logistics, okay, or distribution, that is the warehousing decisions, inventory decisions, transportation decisions, okay, as well as order fulfilling decisions. Okay, so with respect to execution or implementation, okay, the seller and buyer may collaborate with along with order fulfillment. Say Fred Mayer and Procter and Gamble, they collaborate on order fulfillment. Okay, and they can also work on order generation. Okay, how to increase demand, as well as production and supply planning also can be done, okay, together by the buyer and the seller. So that is the reason why Procter and Gamble is able to produce and supply exactly what is required by Fred Mayer. And finally, the seller and buyer can also collaborate on analysis activity. Analysis is basically once the company plans, organizes resources and implements, okay, what actually happened in the market. Say for example, sales forecasting figures, what are the accuracy? Okay, what is the fill rate? What is the inventory level? So this all information can be gathered and which will be used for next, okay, strategy and planning. So it's a continuous cycle, doesn't stop. So in analysis part, the seller and buyer may collaborate on customer scorecard, okay, customer satisfaction, as well as execution and monitoring of the strategy and the planning. Okay, so they can find out the exceptions or deviations in the implementation of the strategy and planning, and they can identify the reasons, and thereby they can try to overcome or take corrective measures, or they can assess the performance of the supply chain, okay, then identify the situation. If it is not good, okay, they can identify the reasons and implement those corrections in the new strategy and planning. Okay, so this way sellers and buyers may collaborate along any or all of the 4 supply chain activities. Okay, so there is one more example which we are going to learn, okay, after this. Less than a minute is remaining. Okay, so let the minute close on its own. Then you have to join back. You know that.